What I'm going to show you in this video is how to calculate mean and standard deviation along with a couple of other things for both raw and grouped data on the TI83 and 84 calculators. So the first thing you need to do is find all your buttons. All right, you've got a stat button right here, and above that is a list button. We're going to start with the stat button. All right, and notice you have some choices here: edit, calculate, tests. All right, we're interested in editing, so just hit enter. And you'll see two list views come up. Now, I've already entered the data in here, but all you need to do to enter the data is literally just type each value and hit enter until you've got the entire list populated. Now, what I've done is I've populated L1 with the temperature data that we used in class. So there's 50 values in here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's 50 values in here for the 50 temperature data points that we had in class. All right, so now before I can do any calculating, you have to actually exit out. If you don't exit out, it causes the calculator to do weird things. So you're going to exit out of that, go back into stat, move over to calculate, and we want to calculate for this one variable statistics. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to pull that up on the screen. Now, if you're using L1 as your list, that is the default for the command, so you don't have to do anything else. Just hit enter, and it has now done some calculations on L1, that first list there. So notice you've got your sample mean. Okay, there's a couple of other things we don't need right now. Now it does the sample standard deviation. It also does the population standard deviation because the calculator doesn't know which one you've got. So the sample standard deviation is what we're interested in. And I can move down, and notice it gives me some other things. It gives me the sample size of 50, and it gives me the minimum value. Now the quartiles, we'll get into that. We haven't covered that yet, so just ignore that for now. But it does give you the median. It gives you the maximum value, so you know your low value, your high value, and you know your median, and that's it. Okay, so you can scroll back and forth through this list, write down whatever you need, and when you're done, just hit clear. All right, before we can input any more data or do anything else with our one variable statistics, you have to know how to clear the memory, clear the list memory. All right, so what you want to do is, notice above the plus sign, you've got MEM here. So you're going to go second, memory. Now, be careful. You potentially can reset your calculator using these commands here. All right, so just be careful. Tab yourself down to clear all lists. This will clear out the entire list memory. All right, I hit enter, and I hit enter again, and now when I go back into my stat edit, notice the lists are clear, and now I can re-enter data whenever I need to. Okay, now that your lists are clear, we can enter a second set of data in. Now what I'm going to do this time is the frequency table that we made up in class for the temperature data with the classes and the midpoints and the frequencies. We can input that. Again, go into stat, edit. Now again, I've already input the data, so you move back and forth between your lists just using the left and right arrow keys. Alright, so start in list 1, enter all your midpoints. And if we go down the list here, you can see I've got all the midpoints entered. And then you're going to use the arrow key to move over. Now again, if you have no data in there, it'll move over to the top space to L2, and you're going to enter all your frequencies into L2. And again, that matches what I did in class. Okay, so we get out of this. I still want to do stat calc one variable. But remember, one variable statistics without any arguments defaults to L1. So it'll only calculate on L1, but I don't want it to only calculate it on L1. I want it to use the frequencies in L2. So I need to go into my list menu right here. So second list. And I need to tell it that I want it to use L1 and L2. So whichever list has your data in it, or the midpoints in it, L1 goes first, comma, second list, and then your frequency list, which is L2, goes next. And then when I hit enter, okay, notice you can tell because it still says n equals 50, all right, not the number of classes, but the actual number of pieces of data. We again get our mean, which is really close. I think I had 14.1 for the last one, and our standard deviation, which is also pretty close. Right? The rest of the data below is not relevant because we're dealing with frequency data, so it's really just the mean and the standard deviation that you're looking for.